Mindset of a victor. In order to be called a victor, you must do something worthy of admiration. You must do something that scales you from average to victor. The problem I have with you humans is you want the view, not the climb. You want the result, not the process. You like the idea of being a victor. You love the attention associated with that quality, but not the backlog, the endless suffering and pain that comes with it. You can't fly without walking on the ground. Every single thing starts small. Before we move into tonight's discourse, I'll run over a few points that are a preamble to the infinite wisdom I'm about to unleash. I need every single one of you to pay attention, listen very carefully. What you're about to learn can be the deciding factor between your yesterday and your tomorrow. What you're about to hear is the vehicle that transits you from point A to point B. For some of you, you've been stagnant. For some of you, you've been asking questions. Why am I here? I know I have potential. I know there's something more. I know I can be more. Here's the information for you. The first is your ability to make superior and quality decision. This one is very important. Your decisions determines the quality of your life because decision has consequence. The consequence of every decision has already been pre-programmed. If I walk to the summit of this building and I jump, chances are excellent that I will fall. So falling is the consequence that honors that decision, jumping. Now, why am I not falling? Because I've not made the decision that activates that consequence. So the quality of your life is at the mercy of your decisions slash choices. I don't want to go into the subject of decision, but you are intelligent enough if you've been following this platform on a long enough time frame to identify that not all decisions carry the same gravity of consequence as touching life and destiny. For instance, I decided to put on a shirt, a t-shirt to record, a red one for that matter. Does it have a direct consequence as touching this video? Perhaps, maybe some people might not like the quality of the shirt, or when they see red, they see red. Perhaps you might have negative connotations surrounding this t-shirt. Your mom was killed, she was putting on something similar, and I respect that. However, it doesn't stop you from transiting from one level to the other. It doesn't stop this information from getting to you. Conversely, the guy who aspires to be a race car driver offered a scholarship from Harvard as well as Lamborghini. Based on his aspirations, what is the optimal choice presented? Exactly. In fact, before we move on, let me quickly tie in. This is why purpose and vision is very important as touching your life and destiny. There are very few things you pray about once you begin to walk in purpose and vision. There are very few things you pray about. Now, does that young man need to spend extensive hours asking God, what university should I go to? What university should I go to? Exactly. Am I downplaying the place prayer has as touching your life and destiny? Of course not. Prayer is very important. It is to the ideal that all men ought to pray and never to faint. So every single person needs to pray. But there are certain things you need not to ask. It becomes spontaneous. Does that make sense? So the quality of your decisions, the quality of your choices determines the quality of your life. Years ago in college, I made a decision to become intelligent. I made a decision to focus on life and destiny, to become a formidable opponent, to make as much money as possible. Yes, it will come at the expense of a lot of things, because usually at that age, you feel the need to sow your wild oats. It's at this age where women are interesting to you. It's at this age where having a girlfriend, having stories, all of this are exciting. They are thrilling. Girlfriend. However, sacrificing all of those hedonism and pleasure in order to become someone worthy of admiration later in the future was worth it. The reason I'm so monumentally competent, formidable, and every single person listens to what I say and are bettered by extension at such a young age is because of sacrifice. Especially here in Africa, when we see a young man achieve so much, it is an anomaly because you deviated from that script. That's why most people want to listen to me. Most people need to hear. They are eager to listen to what I have to say. It's an uncommon sight that a young man in his 20s, not a fraudster, not involved in some shady business, is able to command this level of influence and fame, especially over the masculine demographic. It's remarkable because you deviated from the original path, which is go to school, go to university, spend the 4, 6 years you have in that institution on women, socializing, going to parties, watching movies. You did something remarkable. The fact that you are over accomplished at such a young age means you didn't walk through that path. Therefore, show us the ancient path. Show us the way. Show us the route. We want to know how you were able to pull it off. We are eager to listen to your story, to listen to the sacrifice, the backlog of pain associated with this result. That's all it is. So the first one, your choices and decisions, very important as touching life and destiny. The second, gain dominance over your emotions. This one is very important. This is where things like discipline comes into play. This morning, I got up very exhausted, not too motivated to go after it. You know why? Because there's this business I was working on previously, and there's this thing I want to do. It's not yet materialized. I was so stressed, so discouraged, and the usual route to deceive myself into not taking action would be to try and revise the plan or spend endless hours planning or revising the schedule, revising the task. That was a loop I used to execute unconsciously until I said to myself, now listen very carefully. If you're a young man struggling with these same problems, this is for you. I said, do you believe you're an intelligent individual? Of course I do. Then if you were able to put together this compendious schedule, why go over it? When you execute, once you're done with the task and you have free time, then you can go over, iterate, feedback. But as for now, as long as it's you who prepared this schedule, it wasn't handed, you didn't pick it up, you didn't copy and paste, execute. Gain dominance over your emotions. You might listen to this, the dopamine, the muse is at its peak. If you keep chasing high, if you keep requiring external motivation to perform, then one, the diagnosis is that the vision is not clear. Number two, Imbibe discipline. Gain dominance over your emotion. Perform irregardless of how you feel. Make sure you get it done. The third is your action and your words. They have to be in incongruity for this mindset to be formed. Most of the times, unconsciously, you act in contradiction to what you previously said. I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. The night later, you stop hot Cheetos and consume food high in calories. You're never going to lose weight that way. That's just the reality. I want to go to the gym. I want to get jacked. Why aren't you going to the gym? Oh, I don't have money. Then you're not motivated enough to go get money in order for this desire to materialize. So don't blame anybody. Don't blame your spouse. Don't act as a victim. Don't curse your parents. My friend, the mindset of a victor is taking full responsibility for his life. The mindset of a victor is taking full responsibility for his life. For as long as you keep blaming people who have gone, there's no rising for you. Even God, or the Israelites about to take over Canaan, God says something very interesting, and I'll tie it quickly to our point. Behold, I've given you this land. However, contend in battle, then possess your possessions. Make no covenant, establish no agreement, take over the land. So even God of the universe, God of the Bible, has given you something, yet you still have to fight for it, contend for it. Do you know the meaning of contend? It means you're going to battle. Chances are excellent you wouldn't come out unscathed. You're covered in bruises, bleeding, sweating, got a little bit of scars, with little to no medication, with the consciousness that even an infection can take your life. Yes, God says you should contend. Then if God, your Father, my Father, the benevolent King of the universe, you still need to contend, either for transformation or in whatever route of contention to receive the promises, then why the fuck do you think the universe would casually hand out blessings? Exactly. The last point will be your mindset. And this is a very important one. I want you to listen very carefully. If you didn't get every single thing I've said up until this point, then listen to this one. Because your mindset, the right level of transformation or otherwise, nullifies every single thing you've spoken. A wrong mindset as touching life and destiny nullifies the first 3 points. That is your choices, your actions and words. In fact, if you don't have the right mindset, what are the chances you'll be able to make quality choices? They are very slim. The chances of you living an exceptional life are in the single digits. Transform your mind, renew your mind, expand your mind, become a better individual. There are various ways of learning, either through your experience or other people's experience. We all know the optimal choice of learning. How do you get access to other people's experience? There are individuals who are benevolent enough to leave their scars in stories, in books, in podcasts. Get access to that material. We live in a world of democratized information. The internet is an equalizer. The internet is God's way of showing mercy to the peasants. The internet, a poor boy from a small village can get access to YouTube content displaying yacht and all kinds of lottery, and with his mind, he's re-engineering his thinking. And my apologies for steering you towards the direction of materialism, but that's not the point I'm trying to communicate. The point I'm trying to highlight very astutely is the idea. Your mindset needs to be transformed. Your perception towards reality. As you be learning, not all challenges or circumstances hurt us. It's the interpretation we give to those circumstances that does damage. As kind, cautious, and loving as you deem yourself to be, if you grew up in an environment where stealing was the norm, as a consequence, you will become a thief. Although that is incongruent to your current moral standing, get this straight, you will become a thief. As logical as this sounds, ask yourself the question, what other mindset do you have executing unconsciously to your detriment? Are there things you do daily to your detriment? So mindset is very important. Mindset leads to perception. Perception determines how you see your reality. In fact, your outward reality is shaped from within. You and I can look at a flag. One might feel patriotic, the other might feel disgusted. Now, the same object of focus, but different perception. If we decide to act on that perception, it will give vastly different results. If there was an opportunity associated with that flag, one gets rich, the other stays the same. So perception determines the quality of your life. Perception determines how you live your life. By extension, the quality of your life. Thoughts leads to action. Action produces results. Results is the sum total of your life. The sum total of your living is the quality of your life. The quality of your life affects those within your radius. My friend, whenever you are engaged in an activity, I want you to sustain the consciousness that you're not doing this just for you. You're not doing this to improve your life. Once your life improves, we as men are like radiant. Every single person's life improves. As a consequence, if you were handed out $1 million today, or if you make $10 million today, does that mean your mom gets better healthcare? Does that mean your brothers go to better school? Does that mean you move into a better apartment? Does that mean your girlfriend, your spouse, or your partner gets a higher quality of living? Question: who made money? Who made $10 million? Exactly. So whenever you are engaging in difficulties, submitted yourself to endless process and struggles. Sustain the mindset that you're doing this for your unborn children. You're doing this for every single person you claim to love. That's who you're doing it for. Now, to the discourse. Can you believe all of that was a preamble? We've not started tonight's discourse. Anywhere we stop, we give God the glory. We share the grace. I'll give you keys to the mindset of a victor. The first one, I hope you're taking notes. The first one is, it's not the things that hurt us, or it's not the thing, the circumstances, or the happenings that does damage, or the interpretation we give those happenings. I've touched on the point initially, so I won't spend much time on this. When a lady leaves you, then it's most likely as a man especially underaccomplished. The average man will cry his eyes out. Why does he cry his eyes out? First one, he interprets this as he's unlovable, the only lady who was managing him, who managed to love him, he has invested his resources, he has invested emotionally, and every single thing has gone down the drain. It will be impossible to find someone else. It will be impossible to get over this. Now, it's not necessarily, he's not bemoaning the loss of a partner alone. He's bemoaning the interpretation associated with that negative result. He's bemoaning the idea, oh, she probably left me because I'm fat. All kinds of insecurity begins to stem up. She left me because I don't have enough. She left me because of XYZ. She left me because of this. And you're giving it all kinds of interpretation that leads to tears. I've said this on countless podcasts and even my own videos that we as humans gives advice in buckets and receive it in drops. If your body is faced with similar situation, the advice comes to you instantly. Leave that lady. There are thousands of fishes in the sea. You'll find a new one. Ah, you lost your job, but this too shall pass. When I lost my job, it was an opening to get something better. So even the Bible says all things worketh for the good of them that love the Lord. So this job loss might be the start of a new beginning, and you're building faith with the listener. However, faced with the same pertinent situation, you crumble, you cry your eyes out because you're so emotionally invested, not giving enough room to rationalize and think. In fact, I would argue that most people enjoy complaining. Most people love this idea of wallowing in sadness. In fact, you get to a point in your life, especially if you live a very interesting one as mine, where you are in some kind of endless battle, fighting something, either a business or trying to do something worthy of admiration. Get to a point, you get to a point where you've been working hard, the results not materializing, such that you begin to gravitate towards the sacrifices you made, the bad habits, the negativity you drop in order to achieve that result because you feel cheated. Also, you begin to feel discouraged. You begin to be languid in your execution. I promise not to spend much time on point one. So point two, inconsistent action will always leave you stagnant. Once you've made a decision to become a formidable opponent, you back that up with consistency. You back that up with persistence, with determination, doggedness, the refusal to die unless you see your result. That there was a certain woman in the Bible. The Bible didn't give us the context of the situation, but she went to a judge, an unjust judge, who neither fear God or man. So this is someone who relationship can't save you. This is someone who God can't directly impact. This is someone who you can't meet someone to talk to that someone on your behalf. This is a completely hopeless situation. Yet the woman had her knees. She went on her knees every single day. And one day the man rose up. He said, I will avenge this woman, her adversary, unless she wearies my soul. My friend, you can weary destiny. You can frustrate Satan that regardless of the storm, you are laughing your ass off. Don't you know you don't have money for the rent? Don't you know that you said you were going to achieve a goal by XYZ month? You are 3 months behind. Why are you laughing? You should be pissed off with God. You should be drowning in depression. That is exactly what He wants. But my friend, once you're consistent, once you're persistent, once you have determination to die unless you see your results, Satan has no way but to give it to you. I recall at the infancy of this YouTube channel, I created 400 and something videos and I averaged on 2 views. 400 and something videos and I averaged on 2 views. My brothers, once the view count drops to 1, I know, he has returned back to boarding house. And sometimes it got to a point where the other one stopped viewing. So I was averaging on no views every single day. Don't just dismiss it, 400 and something videos, whatever. This is day after day, putting in effort, ranting, screaming, recording from a fucked up phone, speaking so fast in order to avoid either a high temperature or low storage. There were times after giving 40 to 50 minutes discourse, shouting at the top of my lungs, only for me to get up, discover it wasn't recording, or the microphone has turned off. But let me check. The microphone is turned off. And every single day, going after it, believing that this is possible, believing that I will change this world, believing that my intellect will revolutionize people, believing that with this wisdom, I truly can enroll degeneracy. What have you been consistent on? Pause this video and answer that question. This is a reality check I'm giving to every single one of you. Have you done something this year, last year, that you're willing to die unless you see your result? Have you staked your future on something? My friend, I staked my house rent, my tuition fees, every single financial result on this wise. Had it not materialized, I would have been fucked. Opportunity is a gift that even the realm of the spirit recognize. Once you persist in an ideal and you truly believe deep down in the cravings of your soul that you are what you are pursuing, the only thing it will take is time. But as touching that result, you will definitely have it. It's already yours. If a child comes up to you, you drive him away, he comes up, you drive him away, he comes up with tears in his eyes, you drive him away, he comes up, you push him on the floor, he comes up. At the end of the day, you will get tired. On a long enough time frame, you'll be exhausted and let him do his bidding. He comes along, hits you with his tiny arms, but he's satisfied. The true question, please, every single one of you answer me. Who won? Who won that battle between you, the adult, and the child? Exactly. You must adopt that same mental model as touching life and destiny. That irregardless of how many times he pushes you, irregardless of how many times you lose, irregardless of the thousands of dollars spent in that investment, it will not lead to a false resolution. I would not invest. It will not lead to a negative pronunciation. All you can do is to learn. My friend, anytime you lose as touching success, anytime you lose pursuing something you truly believe in, convert it to your school, your fees in the school of wisdom. That because of your persistence, nobody would make that mistake any longer. These forex strategies and trading strategies, all of you enjoy. How do you think it was derived? Through endless studies alone? No! Someone, the same as you and I, breathing the same oxygen, but millions of dollars, potentially hundreds of millions to derive that strategy, lost thousands of dollars in the process in order to identify whether this works, identify what works and not. Persistence, opportunity, persistence. I didn't arrive here by law. That's the problem, or that's something I struggle to articulate. I don't struggle, heaven forbid. I refuse to use that word on myself, which is something you learn as a result of this discourse. But people think, falsely believe that success was handed to me. It's not the case. I guarantee you, it's not. So that's the second. The third, relationships. You need a very huge network. This world is men dependent. This world is as a result of men. For any business to exist in today's day and age, men have to be involved. If you throw open the safe, the vault, and take every single man on this earth, it will be valueless because there are no men to appraise your results. There are no men to place demand on whatever it is you have to offer. If we're stranded on an island with the best products, it wouldn't amount to nothing. It's as Metcalfe's law says. The value of the whole network is the square number of the proportion of participants. Is a telephone valuable? Of course it is. If only you got one. Is it still valuable? Perhaps, I don't know. Guess not. So everything advances at the instance of men. My friend, your prayer point is in the bank account of one man. That result you desire is a reality on a man's desk. The promotion you seek can be accentuated, can be accelerated with one relationship. So relationships are very important. In fact, anybody who is an NS fan already knows this intrinsically. So if this is the case, and you truly believe what I say, where people get it wrong, however, they are only takers in a relationship. Unfortunately, we as humans, we're not built that way. We're not built for a relationship to be one-sided. Even your children, you compel them at a very young age to say thank you whenever help is rendered and please for a request. In a situation where one person is giving, one person is helping, one person is giving you access to various individuals and you're not contributing anything. In fact, we live in a world where every single person equates arrogance to confidence. So once a person renders help, like takes you on a yacht, thanks to you, you interpret that action as being a billionaire, being equally as rich. Because if you were rich, this experience isn't foreign. So taking you on a Lamborghini yacht isn't foreign. It's you're used to it. So you pretend as though that is the case, which is a very stupid belief. Do you believe phone or food is ubiquitous? Of course you do. But if someone offers you food in need, you would appreciate the person. Your gratitude will be distinguished. You give the person a sense of exclusivity. You compliment the food, especially at a family Thanksgiving. Your host will compliment the food, you say thank you would laugh, you would make jokes, you'll be free because you're operating from the standpoint that this is ubiquitous. There's no way on earth that this person thinks I can't afford this meal. So actually, you're creating the opposite of the desired effect when it comes to the yacht. Say thank you. It doesn't take away your status. And if it does, if you truly have status and saying thank you takes it away in that person's sight, but does it really take it away from an internal standpoint? Exactly. Exactly. So that's one of the ways to spot fakes. Say thank you. And there are individuals as touching life and destiny, God has sorted them out. In that situation, introduce gratitude into the equation. So say thank you. Don't be a parasitic relationship. Make sure you're a contributor to every relationship, every single place you find yourself, and you'll be fine. As always, my friends, pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.